Hey, it's Michael, the English pronunciation coach here, and in this quick video, I'm just going to tell you about the 2 times in my life that I've really struggled with pronunciation, and as a result of these struggles, it has had a really big effect on my confidence, my personality, and how I have come across in the language. The first time was when I was a child. When I was 7 years old, I couldn't even pronounce my own name properly in English because of the R sound. My surname is Roberts, and whilst many learners of English have difficulties with the English R sound, so do many native English speakers. In fact, the English R sound is the last sound that children learn to develop when they learn English. Because unlike most the other sounds in the mouth, with the English R, it's a funny position where nothing is touching anything else. The tongue's not touching the roof of the mouth, etc. I'll explain the R sound in more detail in another lesson, but this was a real challenge for me when I was growing up, and I couldn't pronounce the R sound. I'd pronounce the W sound, W, instead. So instead of me pronouncing my name Michael Roberts, which is what my name is, instead I'd pronounce Michael Wobberts. That was the first sound that I struggled with when I was a child. The second sound I struggled with when I was a child was the S sound, as in song. And I spoke with what was called a lisp, where I would put my tongue in between my teeth and make the sound. So instead of saying silly sausages, I'd say silly sausages. And I'm sure you can imagine for a child on the school playground, speaking like that and making pronunciation mistakes like that can make school life a tough place to be. And this went on for quite a while. My parents tried teaching me. They couldn't quite get me there. So this went on until I eventually got some professional help where I learnt some specific exercises that were then able to help me clearly make these sounds. And as soon as I stopped pronouncing them, the bullying and the jokes and all of this stuff went away, and my confidence went right up in English. And I'm very glad to say that I've never had any English pronunciation difficulties again ever since. But with that being said, I then have had pronunciation difficulties with other languages that have affected me in exactly the same way. About 15 years after I'd had my initial pronunciation difficulties, I went to Brazil. I achieved a lifelong dream of moving to Brazil, and I taught myself Portuguese to fluency. But I taught myself, and like most people when they learn English, I never built that foundation for actually speaking the language by learning pronunciation. So as a result, I would speak Portuguese with a very English accent. I didn't know how to make the Portuguese sounds correctly. So as a result, my problems returned. I was getting asked to repeat myself. I felt like I was treated differently when I spoke. I felt like people didn't take me seriously sometimes. I just felt like a less confident version of who I am in English. And I knew that there was a better version of me that I just wanted to be and to show up with. And again, this ultimately went on until one day I walked into a restaurant and asked to drink poo water because I couldn't hear the difference between 2 words, where the only difference between these 2 words was one sound that took the meaning of what I wanted to drink from coconut water, to poo water. The same thing happens in English all the time, like with words like feet and fit, or caught and cut, or set and sat. So I then went on a mission to learn about Portuguese pronunciation, which then led to me actually studying the science of English pronunciation because I couldn't find any good resources that would get me the results that I wanted with my Portuguese. And then it was from there that I actually realised that learners of English were having the same difficulties that I'd had in Portuguese, but in English. And that's when I made it my mission to help learners of English to become confident in their speaking by discovering pronunciation. So I just wanted to share this with you because I've been there myself 2 times in my life. I hated how I felt when I was going through these difficulties and experiencing these frustrations. But I also know how it feels when you overcome them. And that's why I'm so passionate about helping learners of English to overcome their pronunciation frustrations so that they feel more confident and get the respect that they deserve. And that's why also I've made it my mission to actually teach pronunciation in a way that's very simple and quick and effective to learn. The reason why I developed my own methods was because when I was trying to learn Portuguese pronunciation, all I could find was very complex explanations that just were very hard to actually take and apply to real life. So that's why all my techniques like the finger technique or the 2-second rule, they're all there to make taking frustrating English vowel sounds that can be confusing and then make them really simple and easy to learn. So that's it for today. I hope that helps you to understand why I'm so passionate about pronunciation. I really do love teaching it. If you want to share your experiences, I'd love to hear your experiences with pronunciation, which sounds you might find challenging or frustrating. So comment below this video or send me a message, respond, letting me know your journey with pronunciation. If you're experiencing difficulties, I'd love to hear about it. And I look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial and talking to you in the comments.